talk about this as well.
There is no place in America, red state, blue state, urban area, rural area, that doesn't believe the system is rigged. And it's rigged against them. And they understand it every single place in America. They know who writes the laws. They know who wrote the Medicare prescription drug law. It was written by the lobbyists for the drug companies. They know that. They know who has the power in Washington, D.C., and they know it's not them. For us to be able to go to these places and compete, we need to quit worrying about political strategy and actually be the party and have a presidential candidate that stands up for real change, real reform. I said earlier today, not just for the presidential candidates. I think my party, the Democratic Party, the party of the people, ought to say from this day forward, we will never take a dime from a Washington lobbyist. We do not do business with these insiders. We're going to give the power in this government back to the people. Senator Obama and I have already done it, but this is not just presidential candidates. We don't have to wait for the next presidential election to start reforming. We need to start a grassroots movement for reform today, and we need your voice.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. That's actually the second time we've made this very clear statement about lobbying. Senator Clinton is sitting next to you. Would you make a similar statement, or why do you think that's not a persuasive?
Well, I think it's a position that John certainly has taken. I have to say that I don't think, based on my 35 years of fighting for what I believe in, anybody seriously believes I'm going to be influenced by a lobbyist or a particular. Now, you know, I've been waiting for this. This gives us a real sense of reality with my being here. But look, the important thing is what you have fought for and what you will fight for. And I will absolutely be on the front lines of the change that we need. And I think I have a good idea about how to bring about that change. I wish it were. I'm you know, anxious to hear the exchanges, but I wish it were as simple as saying, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's going to take a grassroots movement. That's why I'm here today, to thank the blogosphere, to thank YearlyKos, to thank you for being part of the progressive movement in America. I wish you'd been around in '93 and '94 when we were trying to get health care. And I look forward to working with you when I'm the nominee and president.
Senator Edwards has really a very straightforward question here, which is, will you continue to take money from lobbyists?
Yes, I will. I will, because you know, a lot of those lobbyists, whether you like it or not, represent real Americans. They actually do. They represent nurses. They represent, you know, social workers. They represent, yes, they represent corporations. They employ a lot of people. So, you know, the idea that somehow a contribution is going to influence you, I just ask you to look at my record. I have been fighting for the same things. My core principles have not changed, but I do want to be the president for everybody, and I want to represent the entire country, and that is what I'm aiming to do in my campaign.
Thank you. Very, very quickly, I'm going to Senator Dodd, who hasn't spoken about Senator Obama, and then I'm going to go back after Jeff in the audience.
Well, Matt, look, first of all, whether you're a Washington lobbyist or a Chicago lobbyist, what we ought to have is public financing for great
Well, you can't tell me that that money did not have a difference. They are not spending that just because they are contributing to the public interest. They have an agenda. Part of the analysis for all of you is who's got a track record on doing this. Here in Illinois, I passed the first campaign finance reform in 25 years right here in Illinois. We just passed an ethics reform bill that is going to allow you to see who's bundling. And the reason is because myself and Russ Feingold forced that provision in. And by the way, it was resisted not just by Republicans, but by some Democrats. So, you know, we can take concrete steps right now. I agree that our long-term goal has to be public financing. But let's not suggest that until we get there, that there's nothing meaningful that we can do. There in fact is.
I'm losing control. I promised Senator Edwards, who also must have had a birthday sometime recently, 15 seconds, and then we're going to go back to the audience because poor Jeffrey's going to ring my name. Senator Edwards.
If you have any question about whether Washington lobbyists have disproportionate influence, too much influence, how many people in this room have a Washington lobbyist working for you? I see 2, 3, how many people are in the room? 1,500, 2,000? You are not represented by Washington lobbyists. You need to cut these people off.
I was the percentage is now arguing down to 5 seconds. I can't say none of that.
I'm just wondering, while we're talking about Washington lobbyists, so I don't take money for
That's 3.
Wait. Would Senator Edwards be willing to expand that to include Wall Street hedge funds?
I guess you need another 15 seconds.
Here's what I'm willing to do, Dennis. I'm willing to say people who, for a living, lobby the Congress. People who spend every day of their lives, most of them, working for big drug companies, big insurance companies, I will have never taken a dime from them. I won't take money from them now. As long as we don't have public financing, which I am completely committed to, I think we have to raise money from nurses, teachers, doctors, people who work on Wall Street in New York City, in order for us to be able to have a serious campaign. That's the way I
Thank you,
think.
Senator.
But I will never and never have taken money from the Washington lobby.
Well,